So the world has changed a lot in the last, I don't know, a few months, probably since the beginning of time. But it just seems like recently, with all the stuff going around, that people are looking for newer ways and more. I don't particularly love the word innovation because now I think it's the new buzzword. But people are adapting to getting their messages out. And one that I've noticed recently was a good friend of mine named Chris Woolard. And I want to bring him on and talk a little bit about what they're doing. Chris,
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
what up? So, Chris Woolard is the pastor at Venture Church in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I'm in Raleigh. And Chris and I met a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
When I came down with our pastor to really just kind of, we were doing a little check presentation, but then because the Burgaw area was hit so hard with Hurricane Florence, and Chris said, "Hey, do you guys want to go and meet some of the folks and look at some of the damage?" And I'm like,
Right.
"Sure." And I remember saying to Donnie, "I'm riding with Chris." And we started shooting some video and just went from there. But tell the folks a little bit more about what you do and your role.
Yeah. So I'm the pastor at Venture Church, and we moved here, my wife and I, man, close to 9 years ago to start a new church, which is kind of a whole world, whole subworld of people starting churches and trying to build community. And so we've experienced a lot as a church plant. We set up and tear down every single week our space, but the main thing is like building community and getting into people's lives and helping to show people that God is good and that there is hope for their life. And so we've had to learn to roll with the punches. This is, about a year into our church. I have our YMCA magnet over here. Our church meets at the YMCA in Wilmington, so props to those guys. But about a year in, the YMCA burned down. We showed up on a Saturday night and on a Sunday morning, and it had caught fire Saturday night. There's fire trucks in the parking lot, and we had to learn how to do something different that day. Fortunately, they've rebuilt, and we moved around a couple other places. Now we're back at the YMCA. We were out of there for 4 years. Hurricane Florence happened, hit Wilmington hard. We had to figure out how we were going to respond. That's why we co-founded DART, which is the group Kevin was talking about. And then here we are in the middle of a pandemic like everybody else. So I'm figuring out how to be not just a pastor, but how to really help people connect and feel calm during this time. And yeah.
So I really didn't think about this, but it seems like once you've had what's the phrase, the boots on the ground there, or maybe sneakers. I'm not really sure what you wear.
Yeah. I'm a flip-flop guy. It's more cold.
But you've been like in a constant state of adapting and innovating and changing, right? I mean,
one time I said that we're the church that if you can find where we're meeting, you can come to our church. we moved around a lot for a couple of months just because of just circumstances and availability and. Right. Always innovation. It's like every day is a new game to figure out.
Wow. So recently, you had reached out and said, "Hey, you were going to start live streaming, right? I believe, right. like some churches are doing." I'm still shocked, saddened, maybe as a believer, that there's still not enough churches, I think, that are realizing, hey, church maybe just isn't in the building. They probably know that,
right.
But there's other ways we can still get the message out there. And so tell us a little bit about what you did and your setup too.
So, one of the, I guess, limiting factors for churches to live stream is like technology, the costs, the skill of people to run it behind the scenes and whatnot. And so that had been something that we had, and internet, a good internet connection, or do we film it ahead of time and then post it later? So we had not done any of that. But it's been on the docket for a long time to figure out. And then, of course, COVID-19 comes along, and I'm fortunate to be in a text thread with a ton of other great pastors in Wilmington. And some of the guys kind of led the charge. They're like, "Hey, it looks like they're going to be shutting things down. We need to start thinking about what church looks like if we do that." And my first thought was like, "Oh, shoot, no, I don't want to do that. That's like a whole world that I'm not trying to get into right this minute."
Right.
We had some elderly people who we knew weren't going to be able to get out because of the initial kind of quarantine recommendations. So we said, "Hey, let's just figure out if we can at least live stream a little bit, just the iPhone and Facebook Live." That quickly, so I called Kevin that week. It's like, "Hey, I got some ideas. What do you think?" We're just talking about tech and gear.
Now, is this Kevin I know?
Some great guy from Raleigh. Yeah, and we're talking about ideas. And what's crazy is within 2 days, we had then made the decision, no, we're going to go completely online. So, man, we've had already several different iterations. One of our volunteers, a good friend of mine, Patrick, he already streams on Twitch. He's a Lego guy. Oh, I wish I had his name. Ekvinya is the name. I don't know how you spell it. If you're seeing this and you do Twitch, go check out Ekvinya, the Lego guy. He's a Lego enthusiast, and he streams cool. On Thursday nights. He does great stuff. He had a great setup, like a 3-camera shot with like all kinds of stuff set up and good mics. So that first week we like went to his house, and I was like, hey, let's just do church at your house. We didn't do any songs. We weren't able to do any much interactive stuff. But instead of pre-recording, we live streamed from his house. And that's where it began. We're on week 3 of this. Every week is – no, we've already done 3 weeks. This is week 4. We're preparing for week 4. And, you know, every church in America is doing it. Everybody's doing it. So we're figuring it out like everybody else. But unlike a lot of churches, we don't have like a venue. We don't have a space. Right. The YMCA is closed also. Plus our stuff isn't there anyway. We take it out every week. Right. So we had to be creative and find some other ways. And that's actually where I am right now is our new solution.
So are you at a place, because what started this with Chris sent me a message the other day and said, hey dude, you check this out. And he's rolling, and I hope this is like when we unveil the curtain. It doesn't, you know, people are like, oh. But when he started showing me, and I don't mean this bad, bro, but it's a simple setup. And I think people think, well, I've got to have all this gear and I got to have this. And it's like, you don't. And then you showed me something. I don't want to spoil it. I want to show it. That to me was absolutely genius on how you took care of some camera shakes. So are you in a position where you can kind of show us? Well,
I can. I'm on my laptop. I'll have to show it with my laptop unless we can bring my phone in. But
that's fine.
Actually, I'm gonna. Is that an option?
I'm giving you the floor and the camera.
All right. I'll use my my computer here. All right. So we're in set, right? I want to tell you this. First of all, I am a musician. I've done some recording. I'm just completely, I'm obsessive over sound quality and audio and visual quality too. And like this stuff has been raking at my nerves a little bit, but I have just had to embrace, like, you know what? The whole world is figuring this out on cell phones and laptops. Let's get over that part. So I had to get over that part. And then I want to just kind of back up and give you a review. Okay. So I'm not in a studio. I'm not in a building with climate control. I am currently in my shed in the backyard. There it is. You know, like there's my kid's bike. There's my table saw, you know, like I got tools out. And so this past Sunday I filmed from in here, and I just had the wall behind me. I had taken, you saw that guitar on the wall and some things like that. That's all I had. That old frame is just something, that's an old sign from our church I put up. But after church on Sunday, I was like, okay, we're going to be doing this for a while. Let's figure out like how to do this a little bit better. Mostly, I don't want to have to set this up every week. I want to be able to walk in and let it then go. I had an old TV stand that wasn't being used, and I had it set on the ground, and I had my laptop sitting on this. I'll show you in a second. This crazy rack I made, my laptop sitting on that. This camera is just on my laptop. It was super shaky. I mean, it was like, I'm in a rickety old shed. This thing needs to burn down.
Shaky like now.
Yeah, that's just my screen shaking. But man, every time I would just move my body in the stool I was sitting on, the screen would shake. Had a few
buddies got into the camera and you, right?
Yeah, it was insane. And so that wasn't working. So I needed better stability. So this is probably what Kevin's talking about here. I took that. Let's see, where's my shot? There it goes. There is the TV stand, but it's no longer on the ground. You'll see. Let me get out of the way. It is hanging from the ceiling. And you can see I got some rope up there. I got some zip ties holding it together. Actually, these are my favorite engineering marvel. This is some 550 parachute cord that I've got. I'm a Boy Scout and a Boy Scout leader, so any Boy Scouts out there, you can be proud. This is a taut line. Taut line is going to give you some tension. And I've got some diagonal side supports, and it's really helped a lot with the stability. So that when I say, oh, no, I got to show you this. This is nothing but some shelf brackets on a piece of wood that I had and screws through it, and it's zip tied to the poles. Lighting is these are, you look for the bright spot, that's what it is. That brightest spot right there is just a shop light. I've got 2 of those, and they're zip tied to the ceiling, and I got them kind of diffusing off the ceiling. It's too bright if I have it right in my face. It's best if I film in the daytime because I also get some natural light through the window and the door. Above the shot there, I just spray painted the wall black, and so I got online, and what I shared with Kevin was like, we're all going through this right now, and we're all making innovation, and we're all trying to be creative. And I do not want to get on stage. I had a staff meeting this morning with our church staff, and I said, we're going to call this setting stage. So that way we can have a vocabulary like, hey, I'm going to say this from stage versus this is going to be email or whatever. But I don't want to speak from stage and have this sense that like, you know what? Yeah, we're cool. We got our plush, studio, and we got all this stuff. No, I'm in my shed, and like I'm wearing flannel today because whereas it's been 85 degrees in Wilmington recently, it's cold today, and I gotta have the window open to have good light, So, I think there's a sense of calm and peace in knowing that we're all in this together, and we're just, and it can be fun. My kids have loved coming out here and helping me. This is just a box of flooring that I got at a yard sale. My buddy Brent just gave to me, and I just took my nail gun and pop, nail it to the wall.
So if you had to guess, just strictly guess, how much investment you've made into this, what I think it is a crazy cool looking little studio. Right. What do you think you've got invested?
Oh gosh, I mean, outside of the computer itself, which is the only financial investment, every single thing you're looking at is trash. This was getting thrown away at a yard sale. My wife was like, we might like that in the foyer. And after we got it home, I'm like, no, I don't think so. And it's just been sitting in the shed. This is a reclaimed window that I think my dad gave me. That's a sign that our church never used anymore. This is some of my best friends. We went on vacation with all of our kids. These are studio speakers that I don't use. They're not plugged in. They're just they're props.
They just look cool.
Yeah, they just look cool. And so, you have that sense that you're in a cool place. This video stand, our church used to meet in a movie theater. I told you we were everywhere. And this was a stand our kids ministry used for a class, but no one's using it anymore. It was literally taking up space in my shed, and like 10 times I've almost thrown it away.
A shop light.
The shop lights were, again, a leftover from the movie theater. We had them up. We used them for lighting in a corner to see underneath the screen so we could get our equipment out. 100% of this is stuff that was in my shed that was not being used. So zero. Other than the computer and the time that I put into it, which was probably 8 hours of cleanup and then put together. But yeah, and here we are.
People can let us know in the comments, but I think this looks so good. It's simple, and and that's not a knock on the work, because I can't put two boards together with a single nail that won't even be seen. But it didn't take a lot of time, a lot of expertise, but you wanted to ramp it up just a little.
Yeah.
And what I think you've done is you've taken space you had, stuff that, like you said, was going to be thrown away, and you've made it look really cool and functional. You're using your laptop camera, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, what do you think the takeaway should be for other churches, even businesses watching this, about right now just trying to get a message out?
Well, I got to give credit to a lot of meetings I've been in. Zoom is the new buzzword, right? Everyone's on a Zoom call of some kind. And so, but a lot of this from my heart has come from a lot of those conversations. But in my family, we've developed a two-part mantra for how to get through this. And it is that we are going to make the best of it, and we're going to take it one day at a time. You got president and governors and local politicians and everything. Oh, we're going to do this through April. Okay, now through May, now through June. We're going to be, I talked to a guy the other day who was like, yeah, we're planning through Christmas. I'm like, don't tell me that. Yeah, good for you. I'm not planning through Christmas right now. We're going to take it one day at a time. And because I've got a 10-year-old, and she doesn't want to comprehend 6 months of this or 2 months of this. So to make the best of it, that's where this came from. And take it one day at a time. And then the message for churches, or the takeaway for churches, for me, in our staff meeting this morning, I had to have an honest moment with we're not a giant church. We have myself and then 2 other part-time staff. They're fantastic. But I said, I've got to stop thinking about this time period as an extended vacation or every day is Saturday. There are things that need to be done. I'm a Jesus follower, and I believe that people need to hear the good news of Jesus, and they need to hear it in a non-distracting, good way. And we need to find out ways to do that. And then all the other things that we do as a church or as individuals. And so what we talked about at our meeting this morning was let's pretend it's a terrible, scary thought, but let's pretend that we're never going to see each other face to face again. How are we going to continue life and have joy? And again, this is the stuff that's coming from great encouragement from other people I've spoken to. So this is not all original to me, but the idea is like, look, we can't just like be victims of this. A guy I was talking to yesterday said, I feel like we're having months of our lives stolen from us. And that is how we feel.
Yeah.
But I think that that's a choice we can make too. We can say, no, you're not going to steal this. And look, people are losing their jobs. The economy is going to suffer. People are actually getting sick and dying. Those things are not to be dismissed. But at the same time, I think about how people went through the Great Depression or World War I and World War II and other great periods of time. And history is going to look back on us and they're going to judge us based on how we overcame this, not how we sat and whined and watched Tiger Kings on Netflix or whatever that show is. Like that's not how we're going to be judged. I don't want that to be how we're judged.
Yeah.
I want history to judge us and say, man, those people stood up and they made the best of it. And I don't know. That's where I am right now. You can come rescue me from the fetal position tomorrow when I have to wake up again. But that's kind of how I'm getting through.
No, I love the message, love you, and love just also the work you guys do down there for those beautiful folks in Burgaw and the other little communities there. But I'm so touched though that, it is so easy and whatever we do for a living to just get so down and get caught up in the I can't as opposed to what I can do. And I think you took a situation and maybe it's helped that you've had to adapt so long. And so, wait a minute, I can do this. And then created this cool place. I appreciate you taking the time. Where can people get in touch with Venture and even if they want to continue to lend support to DART?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about DART. Our whole tag for everything, our handle is Join the Venture. Is it right there? Join the Venture. So jointheventure.com, facebook.com/jointheventure, Instagram handle is Join the Venture, Twitter. And we're posting a lot of stuff like everybody right now. So you can keep up with us there. DARTILM.org. And so DART is Disaster Assistance Relief Teams of Wilmington. ILM is like our airport call sign. So DARTILM.org is our website for DART. And we I just want to celebrate, Kevin. We have, I think, 5 families have moved back into their homes in that community that you visited. So this is a community where water was flooded 30 feet deep over people's roofs. And so we've been, but those operations are kind of on hold right now too. As we wait, but dude, if people will check out DART ILM, support that group financially, even after this is over, schedule yourself to come down and serve. We have I know the director, Emily, that you've met and that organizes all that stuff. But check out those 2 pages. It'd be great to hear from you.
Phenomenal work, Chris. I appreciate you sharing your story, your passion, and just your setup. And I think this is going to inspire folks. And I'm going to put links in the description to Venture and then DART. And maybe even where you bought your shop light and stole the wood.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
But listen, I appreciate you, Chris, and everybody out there watching. I appreciate you being here, and get out there and give those gifts. Have a great today.
Have a good one.